Welcome to the final of Dented Shield Season 3. So we have top two teams from the league, both got through their semi-finals, okay. Which is, my Little Ponies, this Chaos Dwarf team, playing against Khemri, Geezas. So 7 wins from 7 for the Chaos Dwarfs in the regular season. Put them top of the table with loads of really good performances, so very hard to beat all the way through. Most of the games weren't even close, but they did have a couple of one or two close ones. Ramped up the third in there. We'll talk about inducements in a minute. And the semi-final was very close for that Chaos Dwarf team. There was the North team, the Manly Men in Purpley Pants, so the two silliest team names met in the semi-finals, and it was really close. Turn 16, 1-0 win for the Chaos Dwarfs. After what had been a really one-sided first half where they didn't manage to score. But did just squeeze through to the finals. Geezas beat the Lizardman team in the league. Primal Rage with some underscores somewhere. Have we got defenders here? Geezas made it through as well. They won 5 and lost 2 in of the 7 regular season games. When the two teams met, they'd both won 5 out of 5. But also when they met, Chaos Dwarfs won 4-0. It was a massively surprising one-sided game. But that is what happened. So that's how we come into this. I think with the records and with what happened last time these two teams met, Chaos Dwarfs are the favourites. I don't think that's unfair on anybody to say that. And difference in team value as well meant that obviously this big juicy inducement was available. It was 290, the difference in team values. Ramtat's 390, so Lord Tarquin here did top up another 100,000 to put him in. We'll look at that when we switch ends and look at the other teams. So going for the boat formation here, which I hear is actually a terrible idea. There's the streamer Andy Davo keeps promising a video as to why the setting up in the boat is bad. No materialisation of that as yet. I don't see any problems with it personally. It's a good way to protect players you want to protect. Leave some tougher ones out here. But we'll see. Maybe if that video emerges, we'll see the weaknesses in it exposed. So they've gone in that formation, left 3 unlevelled blockers on the line. I think one of them is a movement. Yeah, is a movement 3. Had an injury for that. We've got a Minotaur with guard. A couple of guard blockers in there. There's a Mighty Blow piling on blocker. Also protecting Block Dodge Hobgoblin, Dirty Player Hobgoblin, who may be telling in this game if they can knock a Tomb Guardian down. 2 Bull Centaurs, who are sort of obviously the stars of the Chaos Dwarf team. They usually are. So we've got Break Tackle, Mighty Blow, Sure Hands on one. And is that? I didn't think that one had Mighty Blow. I think that Mighty Blow is on that blocker. So this one has. They got Break Tackle, Block and Sure Hands. No Mighty Blow. Mighty Blow's the blocker. And this one does have Mighty Blow along with Block and Break Tackle. So that's the Chaos Dwarfs, and we'll switch over and look at the Khemri. So Ramtut offers you basically a 5th Tomb Guardian. So Strength 6, comes with Wrestle as well, so there's a bit more safety in his blocks. Also has Break Tackle and Mighty Blow. So he's a bit more mobile than the others, also with Movement 5, and Strength 6 as well is better than a normal Tomb Guardian. This gives them a massive strength advantage over the Chaos Dwarfs, which I'm not sure this team's really had to deal with, so it could be quite telling with these sort of important players. Can maybe own the centre of the pitch and make it a bit harder. So the other Tomb Guardians, this one is the one who's advanced the most, up to 31 points. Mighty Blow piling on and guard. There's an unlevelled one here, a guard one here with movement 3, and this one is also unlevelled. Both blitzers are unlevelled, which I think we flagged up in the semi-final. Was a bit of a shame. They're players you want to be developing, getting some good skills on. It's a good way to get some tackle in the team, some Mighty Blow, skills like that can be really useful for unlocking what the other team's trying to do. Dodge not so much with this team, so tackle isn't quite as important. But some players in the league, some teams in the league rather, where dodge is really important, and a bit of tackle on these guys would be good. I think the coach is a Frenzy fan though, and we'll be looking there first. 2 throwers, so we got block on this one. This one is, I think, Fend and Leader, which is one of their 6 rerolls. Also got a block skeleton here, wrestle skeleton here, 3 unlevel skeletons on the bench. Khemri are attacking first. I'm not sure who made that decision. I don't know who won the toss and chose for the Khemri to attack first, but that is where we are. Early double skulls there on the second block of the game. That's 2 successful knockdowns, and knocking out a blocker early on is pretty big. It's a pretty big deal. And just to push back on that one. Ramtut using the blitz in this this first turn. Go for one of those guard blockers, and that is an early injury. So the only Mighty Blow player in the team getting that hit on. That was a badly hurt. There was apothecaried on that guard blocker. Chaos Dwarfs are going to need their 3 guard players to be able to do much to these Tomb Guardians. So probably a good decision to make sure that player stays in the game. Although they are missing from this drive. And Khemri is showing left here on their attack. I might strip all these advances back to just, or the skills back to just the additional ones, to give us a bit more of the pitch visible. I think, yeah, Fame went that way, didn't it? I can't remember what the kickoff result was. Oh, it was an extra. Is it an extra reroll? Extra reroll for the Chaos Dwarfs. Put them up to 5. So set up here potentially for a Minotaur blitz. It looks like on this this Tomb Guardian. But I'd use a reroll as well. So that's that extra reroll they got from the kickoff. It's always risky blitzing with a big guy because you might lose your blitz action for the turn. But that is what we have there with that going. 8 a reroll up as well with the loner. In the end, just took 1 dice, so no knockdowns for the Chaos Dwarfs. And Tomb Guardians marking players could go straight back into knocking dwarfs over again. 3 dice on that one. This is the Mighty Blow piling on one. So following up to give the Minotaur a potential hit next turn, although not on his feet. Not on his feet, so not going to be blocked by the Minotaur. Could be fouled though. There is a dirty player Hobgoblin lurking around. This one, I think. So we could well see a foul next turn. Ramtut gaining a lot of ground. So Khemri looking to control a lot of the pitch up here. I've cut this Hobgoblin off for the rest of the team at the moment. It's sort of a really good sort of high pressure start from the Khemri. But yeah, looking to control loads of the pitch. Do need to watch this guy. He'd probably fancy a 1 dice block if he can get it. A couple of players still to move here, of course. There we go. So that does take that away, that option away. Following up there does give away 2 dice on that Tomb Guardian from the Bull Centaur, but I'll probably take that on. No foul from the oh yeah, that 2 dice block is, so we have no foul from the dirty player yet, but a couple of Tomb Guardians on the floor, and this one is getting kicked in the head for an injury, so that's a miss next game. Regenerated though, so that'll be Tomb Guardian back in the game next. No sending off either, so a really good foul there. Only gets Tomb Guardian out of the drive, which is a shame. So fouled wild animal there. Another 2+, so that's 2 turns running. The Minotaur's not been playing. On that though, might be a bit of a blessing in disguise. So that would have been 2 dice there, but then into 2 dice uphill on the second block if Frenzy had forced a pushback and a follow up. Just to push back with the blitz, and then the dodge block Hobgoblin dodging away. I think Ramtut could maybe make a hole here though. Does have to resort to wrestle to pull that Bull Centaur down. And then this can maybe be the blitz. to move the ball through that way. It's the blitzer doing it. Who? Oh, I think that was an accidental dodge. Does get him down. I thought there potentially. I mean, it worked out fine, but the wrestle skeleton throwing that block might have been more optimal, just because it gives you another result where you can take this guy's tackle zone out. If you're stuck with a both down with a block player, blocking a block player, wrestle's the only thing that's going to put him on the floor. And with dodge as well, you're really fishing for that one defender down result. One more player freed up here with that pushback, and that's a pretty solidly defended ball. So the Khemri coach has got options here really. They can either just score next time, because I don't think the Chaos Dwarfs are going to be putting a lot of pressure. They haven't really got the speed here to do much with it. We've got this prone bull centaur who might be able to try and do something, but just blitzing this player and getting in amongst them to keep the pressure on might be more what we're looking for. Oh, double skulls, the second one we've seen, one each now I think. So I do have players back here to get the pressure on. I think Khemri scoring next turn, I mean it puts them ahead, so it's not good for the Chaos Dwarfs, but it might be so that's a failed dodge with break tackle. Yeah, into a tackle zone needed a 3, got a 2. But yeah, stopping there, so it does look like the Khemri are going to try and stall this out. And they've got enough free players around here to make it difficult for the Chaos Dwarfs to get in at them. So if they score this turn, Chaos Dwarfs have had 5 turns to get one back before half time. Minotaur knocked down. Don't think this Minotaur's really used to being punched, but is very much outnumbered by strength 5 players in this game. Keeping the bull centaurs under wraps pretty well. Trying to make sure they're hitting them every turn. And doing a pretty good job of keeping them under control. And back to the Chaos Dwarfs. So what do they have here? So both bull centaurs are prone, which takes a lot of their threat away. 4, 5, 6. Couple of go for it. So this bull centaur has break tackle, but it's a couple of dodges, couple of 4 pluses or 2 pluses, a 2 plus once and then a 4 plus to try and get at this guy and get some pressure on. Is about all that's available, I think, because these screening players, this one as well, can maybe try and one dice this one out of the way, which is 1 in 2 actually of getting him down to the ground. I don't know if that really leaves enough space, especially with the prone bull centaur trying to get through. Knocking this one down can help though, which leaves just 1 dodge through to this one, I think. No, not even that. No. Yeah, so can put a blitz down on this this skeleton, which is successful. So has used sure feet already to make that first go for it. Can make one more and does, to get a marker on the ball. Takes that 1 dice on as well. So trying to go for that second dodge. Used break tackle already. Takes a stun on that failed dodge, not putting a reroll into it. Turn 5. So I was thinking, like I was watching the game live, I was thinking it was quite risky stalling already that last turn. To try and do so again would probably be even more so. But yeah, I think the Khemri coach is saying that he wanted to hold out as long as possible, which is kind of fair enough, but there's a lot of risk here. I think this is exactly the right move. Getting 2 assists in there. Only needed the 2 assists, and then this guy, if he blitzes from there, oh, he's gone from there, he's still got that square available on a pushback, which is where he goes. potentially set up another surf next turn. Be going round that way to give that blocker, that bull centaur, very little chance of. I mean, it's a -4 dodge into there, so even with break tackle, that needs a 6. But if they can take these 2 assists out, it's 2 dice on that blitzer, and a follow-up means the ball carrier's marked again, so might want to think about moving the ball. And more blockers just being bullied by Team Guardians for a stun. So breaking armour quite well, the Khemri. Only 1 Mighty Blow player, or 2 with Ramtut. So Chaos Dwarfs here. I think I was looking at, what sort of things did they have? So this, this hobgoblin has a 3+ dodge, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I go for it for 1 dice on the ball, which is probably worth a shot. That has been left on. Another foul wild animal. That's on a 4+ though. We turn 5. I think the 3rd fouled wild animal we've had. Went for the 1 dice there to try and get that follow up, but it was both down. Failed the dodge, but then gets through. Grabs a pushback off of that, and Fend, keeping that hobgoblin there, does still have a go for it available. So I had to roll the dice to follow up effectively, and that blocker gets away as well, but then fails. Go for it. Made the 4+ dodge, failed the 2+ extra move. This again looking, it's looking pretty dicey. Surfable bull centaur here, which is where the blitz is being used, and pushback's good enough for that, of course. So bull centaur out for the drive. Now looking at if they can get this an armour break here would be absolutely ideal for the Khemri. Doesn't get one, but can shield off again, and just try and hold things up, make sure they're keeping the ball in that corner. Moving that skeleton that way means you don't have to put the ball next to the touchline and risk that. Has done that anyway, but there's not really any getting at that ball. Stood up the dirty player next to the touchline. I think I probably would have left it laying on the floor. This is sort of just inviting an easy surf next time. Potential to get this guy off as well if you can push him there. Use your blitz. Minotaur moved on a 4+. And we've got a dodge here. Looks like this is a blitz. Just go for this guy on 1 dice. Just gets a push. Follows up to reduce surf chances. Using the blitz straight on that hobgoblin. Hobgoblin's hard to knock over though, without tackle at least. Did get that pushback there, and then that dirty player hobgoblin surfed for no further effect. So just missing until the Khemri finally score this. You'd think, which is going to be turn 8. Going for turn 8 touchdown. And then using that box to move the Minotaur away with the chain push. I was going to say following up into the Minotaur was sort of it gives the Minotaur a 2+ wild animal roll to do something, but yeah, then pushing him away means it's use your blitz there, or it's a 4+ to do anything with that Minotaur. Might want to use their blitz elsewhere. I'm using it here. Only get a pushback though. Knockdown there would have meant you could get a marker on the ball. Can still do that anyway. And that, yeah, wild animal is failed. Going for 2 dice uphill. Push back on the Tomb Guardian. Might need to, if they want to affect these Tomb Guardians, I might have to take more risks like that. Another one here. Using a reroll to get that pushback. We're into turn 8, so I do need to move this blocker. Can surf it as well. If they've gone there, I think the coach at the time realised that. I think it was a misclick more than anything. They wanted to push there to push it off the pitch. Dangerous blocker. Free injury roll on them would be too good to pass up. But again, keeping the Bull Centaurs under wraps, making sure they're every turn they're trying to get a hit in on them. And that is the score. So Khemri coach played that really well. Like, claimed loads of space in the opposing half early on, with Rumtut the third sort of spearheading that. Then followed up and just kept control of all the space, held the ball in the corner for a long time, and put it in turn 8, leaving Chaos Dwarfs with 1 turn to try and score, to level the game up. That knocked out blocker stayed that way. The only injury we saw was the fouled Tomb Guardian, who regenerated, so he's now back in. I think it was this one on 4 points. Knocked out blocker there. We had the badly hurt guard blocker as well, who's come back in. Dirty players on the bench at the moment. This is prime dirty player time. A 1-turn drive. If they get sent off, it's not a massive effect on the game. And is pretty far forward, so they're going to be looking to put down a Tomb Guardian, and then kick them in the head is going to be the plan here, I'd have thought. So strength 6 and 2 strength 5 guards is a bit of a puzzle to try and unlock. I was looking at this at the time, and I'm pretty sure it can be done because the Chaos Dwarfs have 3 guard players. I think I was looking at Bull Centaur directly in front of each guard, because you've got to get rid of them first, with another guard, one of the guard blockers in the middle, gives an assist on both of them, so that's 1 dice on each. And then another random player out each side is 2 dice on each of the guards. If you get rid of them, you could maybe then use your Minotaur to blitz Rumtut, and you'd have assists. And if you get knockdowns on these 2 guard players, they're not going to be any help. And then you can knock all 3 over. I think that's what I was looking at. They went for something a bit different. Trying to get diagonal hits in. I think they were looking to use this space to get that second assist on this one. So stepping forward, you can get 2 assists on that end one. But that's the Bull Centaur hit by a thrown rock. Just a stun, but it's going to undo everything they were planning to do with the blocks here. So would have had to, if they got rid of this one with that move forwards, which they do, this Bull Centaur would have had 2 dice on this one as well. So that's the way they were looking at targeting the guards. Gone for a blitz with the Minotaur instead of using that Bull Centaur. Grabs a knockout on the Tomb Guardian, which is a pretty big deal. That's a guard one as well. Guard movement 3. 1 dice on Rumtut is just a push back, but uses a reroll right at the end of the half. Gets that knockdown as well. And now a dirty player can spring into action. So has moved there to take out these 2 assists. Who are we looking at? Are we looking at a dodge? Oh no, if we move this this guy out of the way, you can foul from this square and got a rum tuck with there'd be +3 with dirty player. You'd get +4 on this one if you moved perhaps this hobgoblin here to stop these to assist him. Could have come here and fouled this one on a +1 better. But going, oh sorry, didn't need a dodger at all. Going for rum tuck, just for a stun and a sending off. So the extra +1, it was a double 6 in the armor roll anyway. So only one would have got 3. But it was an extra +1 on the armor for that mighty blow piling on guard, Tomb Guardian. But lost a dirty player for no return. Dirty player did put a Tomb Guardian out of the drive earlier. It was a casualty, but it regenerated. Knocked out blocker comes back, knocked out Tomb Guardian doesn't, so that's pretty big for the Chaos Dwarfs attacking drive here. Got one less Tomb Guardian to face. So Khemri setting up their defence here. Pretty similar to formation to what we just saw, although they're down a Tomb Guardian now. Just down to the 4, including the star player. Have put an extra player on the line here, which I didn't really need to. It's just an extra player who can be hit. Do have some players just a step away if this is a quick snap. It's not though. Extra rerolls all round. And blocker drops the kick behind him, which makes the ball pretty safe at the start. Although it could be unlocked with some blocks on the Khemri team if there's an early turnover here. Pushing along the line there to give you more hits is always a good move. Getting knockdowns there, so it's the big players. I think Minotaur's got 2 dice on this one, could push towards the touchline as well. Might be going for rum tuck though instead. Oh yeah, I remember this actually. Yeah, I remember what happens with the Minotaur, so I think actually it might be a different turn, so I'll wait to pass judgment on it. Third double skulls we've seen. That throw is put down there. Yeah, it was this turn, yeah, so this was 2 dice into 1 here. This blocker moved across to put the assist down here, but if it instead gone there, it gives the Minotaur a place to push there where you're still getting 2 assists. Pushing there, you're only getting 1, which levels there, because he's strict 6, it levels their strength. So it does have to take a push back into 1. If he'd gone there instead, it'd be 2 assists. But just 1 dice, which is a skull, and not burning a reroll on that one. So Ramtut available to just hit a blocker back. Gets a knockdown, but no armor break, so not doing anything significant. We've got a thrower here overlapping, taking this assist out as well, so you can hit the bull centaur. Could possibly get some good pressure on the ball here as a defensive team. Do have a blitzer standing on it. Could manufacture 2 dice on that player, although it's going to be tough. They'd need a guard in there, I think. Yeah, their guard blockers are sort of otherwise engaged. The Minotaur Blitz on him is the best option they've got, which is inherently risky. Failing a 2+ would leave him prone and cost the Blitz action for the turn. Does go for that Blitz and gets a knockdown though. Gets his guard back in use as well, which is used there. Knock that skeleton down. And piles on for an injury. So just a badly hurt, regenerated anyway, so that skeleton will be back later. We were talking in the game about the effects of piling on, and I think the piling on Tomb Guardian made a reroll armor roll earlier, which is basically fishing for a 10 plus on 2 dice with the reroll to go prone. It's quite a big ask, and we were talking about how if you've already broken armor and just got a stun, piling on's much more effective than trying to re-roll the armour. But it depends whether or not as well you've used Mighty Blow already on the armour as well. If you've got through the armour without using Mighty Blow, you've just got a stun. You've still got that +1. You only need a 7 to get them off the pitch on a re-roll, so it's well worth taking. Sort of much more worthwhile than trying to get a 10 plus with a re-roll. Although you're looking for a 9 plus really with Mighty Blow as well, so it can still be worthwhile. Got Tomb Guardian right through to sack the ball here. So ball back on the floor, doesn't catch it, doesn't throw a re-roll at it. But Tomb Guardian standing next to the ball is a lot to deal with. Just 1 dice on that Bull Centaur is good enough. Both Bull Centaurs prone again, which has been a feature of a lot of the turns in this game. And I think is quite a big reason why the game's gone as it has, with Khemri ahead. And now getting loads of pressure on the attack. Can get another tackle zone on the ball here. So 2 players at the Chaos Dwarfs are going to need to move if they want a decent chance of grabbing that ball. Yeah, I had to take a rather double both down with that Tomb Guardian. Always the risk. Finding the 1 skeleton with block there, with that both down. Blitz, yeah, finally a couple of turns in a row that Blitz has been hit by the Minotaur and gets knocked out at that time. So using break tackle and the safety of Sure Feet to come around and get a tackle zone on the ball and an assist, but fails that pick up with Sure Hands. It was a 5+ roll they were looking for, and now we've got some bouncing about. No one can grab it. Everyone's in tackle zones. Ball finally settles down there, and that's a turnover for the Chaos Dwarfs from the foul pickup. Straight away getting tackle zones off the ball. Another double skull. That's I think 2 each, but that was re-rolled into a both down, and then Mighty Blow was proved to be the edge to stun that Tomb Guardian against the Minotaur. Throwers, of course, is who the Khemri want picking up the ball. Scattered that out of 2 tackle zones into 1. So if they can deal with Ramtut here, they can have another go at picking up. Don't think it'll be easy. You might be able to get 1 dice here. I think I have got 1 dice on him, and that's Ramtut down. Don't want to scatter onto the ball that time because Chaos Dwarfs are going to be in control with all those tackle zones on it. Sure Hands this time allowing the pickup and coming over this way. There's a foul Sure Feet, going for it again. Does have team rerolls still, but maybe an unnecessary risk rolling those extra go for it, so I'm not sure it really gained them a lot. We've got Ramtut stunned here. Prone player here. This Blitzer's potentially a threat to the ball, but would need help and is now marked anyway. I think if the Bull Centaur was still here, it makes it an even harder dodge for this blitz. So first of all, failed dodge there on a double one. Yeah, got away fine over there, but I don't think it made much difference being there. So it's just an extra risk that was a bit unnecessary. Yeah, using the blitz there to make sure there's a Tomb Guardian who's a threat to the attack. And again, don't think needed either of those go for it maybe, although it does make this corridor narrower. It gives the reach of this Tomb Guardian is now right to the edge of the pitch. But I think the best plan of attack for the Chaos Dwarfs looking at this would be, well, I've got to get rid of this guy because he made his dodge. So that's going to have to be where their blitz is, I think. But if the Chaos Dwarfs can clear this guy out of the way, over here is probably a better space to attack because they've got all these players who can come and shield. But this Tomb Guardian's basically owning this space here. They don't want to go near it, I don't think. And a successful 4+ wild animals. That's going to watch Ramtut next turn. Here's a blitz on this guy. Has to come in here, so if you start with a pushback like he is, you can still get away from the ball carrier. Bull Centaurs, because they both got break tackle, they do always have a 2+ dodge as a last resort if they need it. Throw some more go for it's there. Didn't use sure feet, so not as much as a risk as it was last turn. He's now in scoring range. I think we'll see this skeleton hit now, and he's knocked down. Got another blocker available here to come and screen. He's free to move. Don't think this Tomb Guardian will be coming this way anyway. Probably just be hitting this blocker. And one dice here to finish is a knockdown. With that both down. Back to the Khemri. So you might see something similar to last turn with the blitz happening from this Tomb Guardian. If we can get a knockdown, should be able to go mark the Bull Centaur, although it would probably be easy enough to move away. Does get a knockdown there. Can follow up, so that's one. I think need to go for it to mark the Bull Centaur. 2, 3, 4. No, it doesn't. You can just walk up to it. Does still have the 2+ dodge out if they need it. But having this Tomb Guardian deep means it's dangerous for the Chaos Dwarfs to try and do what the Khemri did in the first half and stall this out. It's still available for them. This Hobgoblin can be freed up to come mark over here to make that a blitz out. It does give this Bull Centaur 2 dice on the Tomb Guardian. Just throwing a block, so no blitz there. That's just what I was expecting. Means the Tomb Guardian's got 2 dice uphill on the Bull Centaur. This is where the blitz is happening, which is more support over here. So the Khemri have very little over here. There's no help for this Tomb Guardian. So Sure Feet has fired there. No more rerolls. No more go for it's rather. Wrestle Skeleton is taken on by the Minotaur. Just knocks down, I think. Yeah, no armor break. This thrower's been knocked over a lot of times. I don't think has even been stunned yet though. But I think most turns in this half has been knocked down. I think there's a bit of changing minds there. Oh, they were looking for a 1 dice on that thrower with the blocker here, but this Tomb Guardian had guard, you wasn't going to be able to do that. So potential surf here if they want it, or they're just setting it off for next turn. I think might just be going for the 2 dice uphill on the Bull Centaur with the blitz. Can't get anyone over to take any assists out to even that up. Standing some other players up. Ramtut's got a hit on this blocker. 3 dice as well. So because he's strength 6, only needs 1 assist for 3 dice on a strength 3 player. That is where the blitz is happening. But that is, yeah, no good. 2 dice uphill is much more effective when you've got block or wrestle yourself. Yeah, two results at every dice are going to be failures if you don't. And against block players, that's one of those occasions where wrestle's going to be much more effective than block. Yeah, if that was Rumtut doing that, it would have been, wrestle would have been great. Skeleton knocks down again. I thought that skeleton with wrestle got knocked out at some point. I was sort of waiting for it to happen every time the Minotaur hits him, but I don't know. That's probably a spoiler for a later turn. Blitz happening here. It's just a pushback. I think we are. Oh, no, it has run it in. So it's leaving the Khemri 2 turns to score, which is a tall order for Khemri to try and score that quickly. Don't really have the agility to get. You kind of need a touchback and then some very successful go for it's and all your quick players getting forward quickly. Can try and do it with a pass, of course, but not that easy when you're an agility 2 at best team. Both knockouts back for the Khemri. It's a Tomb Guardian and a Blitzer. And we've got what we've got here. Yeah, so two Khemri turns and a Chaos Dwarf turn. A Riot would be a brilliant kickoff result for the Khemri because that gives them 3 turns to try and win it. Chaos Dwarfs could maybe push the Bull Centaurs a bit further forward, and then on a blitz they can try and win it with their 1 turn to go. But that's, I don't know, that's trying to play the odds a bit much probably. I have left a bit of space here. If the Khemri want to score in 2 turns though, they need their blitzers have to be out wide really, so they can get forwards because they need to be where are we? 2, 4, 6, 8. So this pale green line here, if they've got no blitzers or throwers at least on that line, they can't score in turn 16. So they've got to be probably, if they're going to try and score in 2 turns, they've got to try and push 1 flank, get movement 6 players to at least this line. Further forward's better because it's fewer go for it's later on. But yeah, they've got no hope of scoring if they don't do that, and they've put their 2 blitzers in the middle here, concentrating on getting blocks. But really, if they want to score, they need to probably have them out wide. Probably both blitzers and a thrower out wide to try and get down as many players down to that line as they can. Perfect defence for the Chaos Dwarfs, so setting up on 1 flank would probably have backfired with a perfect defence. But yeah, this looks already, with the blitzers in the middle, it's kind of got overtime written all over it. And that means conserving rerolls is becoming even more important because you don't get them back for overtime. Kick's not going to go off the pitch, and is a good one for the Chaos Dwarfs because throwers have got a long way to come over to get it, and then to try and make a pass and get the ball into the end zone in 2 turns. It's basically not happening at this point. Just a push back there. Does give 3 dice on that blocker. For a stun. 3 dice on that one. And blitz here, so this could be hitting the Mighty Blow piling on, who's protecting a Hobgoblin, sort of the wrong way round in some ways. Hobgoblins are more vulnerable though, easier to remove, so keeping numbers on the pitch, and it was Stick Scolded to keep him on the pitch there as well, so Hobgoblin would have been removed from the pitch with that. So probably the right way round in hindsight. So that's a skeleton getting to that line where a movement 6 player would need to be. This skeleton needs to be 1 square forwards to have any chance of scoring. And because the blitzers were deployed quite centrally, they're now having to go round quite a long way and can't get onto that line. This one throws 2 go for it. Could have cut inside there to come back off the touchline, but he's also a skeleton as well, so movement 5, best they can get to is 1 square short. Sort of needed more if they're going to be going for this like late attempts to get far enough forwards. That needs much more sort of forward planning with quicker players out wide so they can get down that far. Failed to pick up and it scattered off, but about as good a scatter as the Khemri could have hoped for from the crowd throw-in. That skeleton left by the touchline is surfed. That's almost a given where the blitz was going to be. And yeah, because they know the Khemri can't score now, not really any need for them to worry about where the ball is, about these players who aren't going to do anything. Does grab a removal there though, so that was a... Who was that knocked out? Was it one of the blitzers? Yes, that's another blitzer knocked out. So if they don't come back for overtime, that's a pretty big deal. Then running away some hobgoblins for protections, try and keep their numbers up. I think, yeah, just retreating all the players they can. Can't retreat the Minotaur. The Bull Centaur in here for some mutual protection. Chaos Dwarf failing that dodge, but not re-rolled. Yeah, so all Khemri have now is, can we get any players off the pitch to try and make overtime a bit easier? And I think this is the ideal player to be blitzing with. Gone with Rum Tuts. That's not going to get him any star player points if there's a casualty here. Also doesn't have piling on, and with the Chaos Dwarfs not having another turn before the reset, you might as well pile on. So yeah, I think this was the guy to blitz with there. Going for a pass for the point, but doesn't get the catch. Didn't want to use a reroll, so they're already down. Had to reroll a bad block. Already down to 1 reroll. I think they get their leader reroll back. I think you get leaders back for overtime. I think it's the one that does. I know in tabletop rules, new edition, you don't. But let's see, they were on 1, so we'll see if that does come back or not. Pretty sure it does in Blood Bowl 2. But the crucial thing there, more than rerolls, is that Khemri run the toss. No, don't get the leader one back. So that is gone as well. Yeah, Khemri won the toss and obviously decided to attack. That's what you do if you win the overtime toss. So very much in the driving seat. Only players down are Dirty Player Hobgoblin sent off. No other players out of the game. So pretty much full squads to choose from everybody. Got this Tomb Guardians back. And straight back on the pitch, so just 3 unlevelled skeletons on the bench. Back to 4 Tomb Guardians plus Rumtut, 2 blitzers, 2 throwers, and skeletons with block and wrestle. So yeah, so every player on the Khemri team, bar those 2 Tomb Guardians, have some skills. Similar with the Chaos Dwarfs, who've just got 1 unlevelled Hobgoblin, who'd probably normally be the Dirty Player one. Set up quite wide there. Extra reroll for Geezas. And that is a touchback, which against Khemri means they're not going to be taking on risky rolls. Also means they can give the ball to a Tomb Guardian. Is about as difficult a prospect. Getting a ball for Tomb Guardian is about as difficult as it's going to get. I mean, a Tomb Guardian with block and dodge would be harder, obviously, but Strength 5 is probably the best defensive skill a Tomb Guardian's got, and is going to make it very difficult to get that ball. Another knocked out blocker as well, to open up overtime this third half. And that is where we are. So extra reroll, a really good kickoff result for them, and Fame helping with it, I think. could check back on the dice actually and check that. Yeah, both rolled a 1, so it was the Fame was the decider on that extra reroll. If it goes to kicks, of course, we're still level at the end of this half. Kicks is a d6 each plus the number of rerolls remaining. So conserving rerolls through this, which the Chaos Dwarfs made a really good job of conserving those to bring 3 into overtime. And then the extra one from the kickoff result being helpful there for the Khemri. Yeah, could be very telling at the end, but it means you don't want to have to use them as well. And this Tomb Guardian standing in the middle of all these other players, that's a really tough nut to crack. I think the Chaos Dwarfs basically are going to have to try and chip away players around the edges, try and stop the advance here of this cage. I think I'd probably try and play it by denying as many blocks as possible to try and hold up their advance, try and get some of those players off the pitch. Hitting this thrower back here with the Mighty Blow player is a good way of trying to do that, and does get a marker on the ball, so that forces them to use their blitz here if they want to move the ball next turn, and will hold up some players and stop the advance a bit. So if you can get a marker on the ball, that's great, especially when it's an agility 1 ball carrier. But yeah, straight away Mighty Blow piling on Tomb Guardian, blitzing that Bull Centaur, gets a knockdown. Doesn't follow up. I think, yeah, quite rightly deciding that the tackle zone, especially with the guard, is more valuable than another chance at trying to roll 9+ on 2 dice. And do get some space forwards here, so claiming a bit of space. Won't have to worry in the first half about holding up and try to take as long as possible to score, because first touchdown wins. A little bit vulnerable at the moment. They're going to need to try and free up somebody to stand probably here, and then the Chaos Dwarfs will try and have to unlock. This player does have guard, which gives them something. This is still a vulnerable space. I think I'd quite like my chances here as the Chaos Dwarf player of a bit of a hero play of this block dodge Hobgoblin, 2 dice uphill from this square. I think would be a great play here. I think it's around 45% chance of a knockdown. I think that's with a reroll actually. Because the ball carrier doesn't have block. Blocking player does. I think I'd like that. I think I'd be taking that on. Yeah, that square should not have been left unprotected like that. Hobgoblin is just over to mark the ball carrier though, so a block dodge player marking the ball carrier is tough to remove. Extra player in there as well. I'm sure they've used a blitz. They might be using this Bull Centaur to blitz to try and knock this guy over on the stand up. Do have players over here to try and block the path, but it was an attempt at the ball they could have made in that turn. Fend proving useful there to keep another marker off of the ball carrier, and we had no blitz, so this Bull Centaur not used last turn. Stun there is quite useful. I'm pretty sure they can move both of these players probably okay. Does leave that guy where he is. Means they're probably going to have to block with the ball carrier this turn. So keeping that Martyr under wraps, also an assist for 2 dice, and Martyr is knocked down. Stun there, so I think Skull again doing the thing, preventing that knockdown, and it's 3 dice from the ball carrier on that last blocker. not following up and locked up the ball again. So again here we got, because the diagonals are the important squares to protect, this is an open space that this ball centaur can exploit. So 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 2 go for it. It's 2 dice uphill again, but again it's a block player hitting a player without block, and that's a decent chance at getting at the ball. And if the Khemri could have spared another players to stand sort of here and here, or maybe this square. I've used their blitz there though, the Chaos Dwarfs, which gets a stun on that blitzer. Still got the ball centaur on the ground here. Ah, that's a knocked out wrestle skeleton. I thought it was, yeah. When the Minotaur kept hitting in the second half, I thought that was going to be the moment it left the pitch, but not so. Bull Centaur can come and stand there if it wants to. Doesn't though, so he's just sort of shadowing this this cage. Looking to move this hobgoblin out the way. Gets a knockdown. And that's an injury. Yeah, badly hurt. Badly hurt hobgoblin from that mighty blow. Tomb Guardian. And then holding in there does leave a gap here. I think sending the Tomb Guardian down on its own though would be a bit risky. Made that go for it with the reroll. This player's maybe available to come this way. So hugging the touchline a bit. Have gone for the sideline cage there. So it's risky stuff. But Chaos Dwarfs don't have a lot of mobility here to do much with that, and it would be a bit tough. That's another. Well, that's the Mighty Blow piling on, niggling injury for the Mighty Blow piling on blocker from that Tomb Guardian. Let's see what that happened. Or was that Rumtut again? Yeah, it was Rumtut. So it's Rumtut's second casualty, I think, this game. It is always a downside to including star players in the team. They do eat up some star player points. So ball centre at the back here, going for the blitz. Fend preventing the follow up, but can just use more movement to go there anyway. And I had to re-roll that skull. Needed to throw 1 dice blocks on these Tomb Guardians, so yeah, didn't have the opportunity. 2 dice uphill. So throwing 2 dice uphill there, where yeah, they could have done that earlier on the Tomb Guardian and had a much better chance of doing something effective than with that one. Yeah, if there's a skull involved, that's no good though on a red dice block. So Tomb Guardian freed up to move down the touchline. Might want to be looking at using their blitz here, maybe. Yeah, I think I'd probably be looking at using this guy to blitz the Bull Centaur. You need a knockdown though to free this player up, so maybe not. Could just yeah, use that player to screen is probably a better call. This player's free as well. Standing here somewhere would probably be most ideal. Because they have again left that diagonal one. That's 3 dice uphill at the moment. Needs to take out at least one of these assists to have a decent blitz with this blocker. Yeah, no blitz yet from the Khemri. Got Rumtut available though. You can have a go at this guy, I suppose. Oh no, going there. 3 dice pushback. And then just moving to mark that blocker. Or both of them, in fact. Another marker in there. Doesn't really affect this blocker's chance of dodging because always had that square, whether that guy's there or not. So it might have been more worthwhile that skeleton putting an assist over there to make it 2 dice. or up and about on a 4+. Right around there for that. Are we going for? We're going for 2 dice uphill on the ball. So finally taking one of those opportunities, but only getting a push back. Means this player has to be moved though. Because can score next turn. It just need to move that player. I think. Oh yeah, I remember watching this, and that was immediately not doing what I would have done. It just. Yeah, for what it's worth anyway. But yeah, what I was eyeing up was this Tomb Guardian needs to go for it to blitz. So just use its assist. You've got block with this player. If you blitz from there, that's 2 dice. You've got block, so if you are stuck with them both down, you've then got the backup of just blocking with the ball carrier to get the ball centaur away. And just try to hold on for another turn. Is probably what I would have gone for. I mean, what the Khemri coach goes for in the end is just blitz with the ball carrier, which carries its own risks, but all you need is a pushback. Gets a power, doesn't follow up, of course, and then can just walk it in. And the first time I've ever seen a Tomb Guardian score a touchdown. Sure, there are other examples out there, but that's quite a nice way to win a championship, really, with a rare Tomb Guardian touchdown. You get to see them dance. Don't get that very often. Not bad moves. And that is it. That is our season over. With Geezas winning it. So underdogs winning out in that final. I think Rumtut taking the MVP, probably quite rightly. It did seem like he made a massive difference. And really, yeah, was probably more than a leveller, really. And inducements are supposed to even things out. They spent a bit from their treasury to get him as well. But yeah, he did make a massive difference, and the strength 6 was a lot to deal with for the Chaos Dwarfs. Minotaur took the MVP as well, but Rumtut, yeah, did grab 2 of the casualties from the game. Only one other, that's a Tomb Guardian, isn't it? With Mighty Blow piling on, and not many points to go around for the Chaos Dwarfs. And that's how we finished. I don't know. We was looking at dice after the game. I don't think there was a lot to see. I think. Block dice were pretty poor for both teams, so there's like more skulls than powers for both of them. A lot more skulls there, actually. And yeah, but not a lot of block players on the Khemri as well. All of these are quite bad for them, or most of them. It's just their 2 blitzers, and Rumtut had wrestle skeleton, block skeleton as well, who were in there, but most of these were probably rolled by Tomb Guardians. They were making most of the blocks. How did the blocks compare, actually? Yeah, so Chaos Dwarfs don't normally get out blocks that much. Certainly not this season. And that's going to be a big difference in this one. Some of the removals as well. That's quite close, actually. 6-5 when you add them together. And I think there was... I'm trying to think, actually, because there were a couple of regenerations, so these can't all be counting. Although one of them, actually, yeah, one of them's from foul, so it probably is the regenerated one that was there. Yeah, so that, yeah, regeneration wasn't lasting, and then the apothecary probably wasn't counted in these, I don't think. No, must have been, because there was three casualties. Yeah, but that's how we finished. So we've had 3 seasons now. I've had a different coach win it every time. With Lord Tarquin, Dan, winning this one. So he played the vampire team first 2 seasons and came 4th both times. Now has a win under his belt, and we can close that competition. So we do still have the 3rd place game to decide things. I think both coaches have not yet accepted their tickets, but yeah, we knew they couldn't play last week. I think sometime this week they're going to schedule that, but that's Lizardmen against Norse. Let's go back to the actual season. There we go. Who finished 3rd and 4th. Both lost their semi-finals, and yeah, now playing off for 3rd place. How do they stand team value wise? So we've got 1390 there. I don't know if they were up to date on the actual leaderboard. 1390 and 1570. No, they weren't. So yeah, North have gone up quite a bit. So almost 200 in inducements. Is that 180 in inducements? Oh yeah, these two teams. Yeah, 180 in inducements. How are we doing for injuries as well with these two teams? So there's yeah, Blockskink missing. There's a niggling injury on that one. A couple of niggling injuries. So a couple of players who may get hurt further, but we'll see. But big strength advantage for the Lizardmen, as they often have. The Norse do have some high strength players. One of them's a strength 5 off Weriner, I think. Yeah, do have that. The Yeti as well, so a couple of strength 5 players to outnumber the Croxigor. Just one strength 4 though, so the Saurus should be alright. Only one guard player in the team as well. I think that'll be a close one. I think it was a draw when they met regular season. It was, yeah, first game of the season was a 1-1 draw, and they're playing off for third place. I don't think we'll have time to cover it, but yeah, I will somehow get the news out. I don't know, but yeah, thanks for watching along this season. We are going to play a season 4 starting sometime in June. Some of the teams are coming back, some of them are definitely not, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. These are the 8 teams we had. I know the Halflings are not coming back. I know the Chaos Dwarfs are not coming back. The other coaches mentioned you've got to try something different. I don't know who else. Necromantic and this Norse team I think are both coming back. I am going to play Underworld still. I want to give them a bit more of a go. They're just starting to come together a bit, so I thought it'd be a shame as they're starting to get fun to switch to something else. So I'm going to carry on with these. Yeah, having levelled both blitzers now. A couple of goblins who are useful. Yeah, it sort of feels a shame to ditch them at this point. So I'm going to bring them into season 4 as well. But yeah, we'll be back in the summer at some point with a bit more Blood Bowl.